Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's news leader.
Mr. Trump now admits to paying porn actress Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about an alleged affair. I'm Anna Doba with how this could expose the president to new possible legal perils.
A prototype for the first tiny home is built. I'm Adair Fab, and coming up, I'll let you know when the tiny housing village in Bozeman is expected to roll out.
6:30 on this Friday. Chet Lehman with you here. Missy O'Malley is off. Matt Elwell has our weekend forecast in a moment. Our top story this half hour, President Trump says he paid Stormy Daniels $130,000 to stop her from spreading lies about him ahead of the 2016 election. Mr. Trump and his lawyers say no campaign finance laws were violated. CBS News' Hannah Doba is in New York with the latest.
President Trump is now acknowledging that he paid money to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, though he denies they had an affair. In a series of tweets, the president described the non-disclosure agreement with Daniels as being very common among celebrities. Mr. Trump said it was intended to, quote, stop the false and extortionist accusations made by her about an affair.
Look who's on the couch, Rudy Giuliani.
Those revelations were initially made by Rudy Giuliani during a pair of interviews on Fox News.
Funneled through law firm, and the president repaid it.
It was a dramatic debut for the former New York City mayor in his new role as a member of the president's legal team. But experts say Giuliani's statements raise new questions about the $130,000 sent to Daniels.
That looks like a structure of money. And when you use the word a funnel or facilitate, that doesn't look good.
White House officials were caught off guard by Mr. Trump's revised version of events.
The first awareness I had was during the interview last night.
Press Secretary Sarah Sanders had previously said the president knew nothing about any payments to Daniels.
We give the best information possible at the time, and we're going to continue to do that every single day.
Sanders said questions about the payment should be directed to Mr. Trump's personal attorneys. Anna Doba, CBS News.
Now, Stormy Daniels' lawyer Michael Avenatti told CBS News that Giuliani's admission, quote, makes our case that much stronger, and I think it makes our efforts to depose the president that much stronger, end quote. Our top local story takes us to Big Sandy for an exclusive television interview. MTN's Tim McGonigal sat down with Senator Jon Tester at his farm to talk about the controversy that's been going on between himself and President Donald Trump.
Senator Jon Tester has temporarily shifted from the Twitter-filled tirades of the nation's capital to the friendly fields of his Big Sandy farm.
Yeah, we're just starting the planning. We'll get done with this probably tomorrow, and then we'll start on the grain.
The ranking member of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee is about a week removed from shining a spotlight on allegations questioning the qualifications of Dr. Ronnie Jackson, the president's choice for VA secretary.
And Tester started throwing out things that he's heard.
The bottom line is that I think that the president's going to do what the president does, and I'm going to continue to do what I do. And when it comes to working for veterans, I won't take a back seat to anybody.
The allegations include reports of Jackson dispensing prescription drugs on cross-country flights and creating a toxic work environment. Tester says he has no regrets about bringing the allegations to light on national TV, and he knows the dust is far from settled on the issue.
Some people would say, well, geez, are you concerned about the election? You know, we knew it was going to be a tough election. This all was going to happen regardless.
Jackson ultimately withdrew his nomination, and Tester took the president's social media criticism in stride, including damaging information the president claims to have on the senator.
Well, I know things about Tester that I could say too.
I got no secrets, truthfully, and I think that you know, just moving forward, what can tend to happen is you take your eye off of what really needs to be done, and what really needs to be done is we need to get a secretary for the VA.
West of Big Sandy, Tim McGonigal, MTN News.
Now, MTN News asked the White House whether President Trump had plans to come to Montana to campaign against Tester, but got no response when asked about the president's comments that he knows things about Tester that are damaging. We also got no response to that as well. Meantime, Lewis and Clark County commissioners have declared local state of emergency in response to flooding. Here's some video. The emergency declaration means the county will be able to start distributing sandbags. High water still affecting neighborhoods in the Helena Valley. McHugh Lane is closed at Mill Road where the street has been flooded. County disaster and emergency service leaders will start handing out sandbags Saturday morning, 7 o'clock at the fairgrounds. They're available only to Lewis and Clark County residents. Sandbags will also be handed out in the Lincoln and Augusta areas. Residents can contact their local fire chiefs for information on when and where they will be available. And it sounds like that situation, Matt, meteorologically speaking, not going to go away.
It's not, and the planning has been going on for a while. Yesterday, our entire weather team went and met with National Weather Service emergency managers, Department of Transportation, to talk about how to make sure that the messages that we're getting out are more accurate or at least unified. And that was one of the things that we were talking about, is the flooding concerns.
Team effort all the way around.
Absolutely.
Love that.
For the morning, we're still looking at those flooding concerns off to our north. Potential of seeing those floods, the flooding waters pick up across parts of Montana will be a major concern over the course of the next few weeks. We're going to take a look at the river levels across the area here coming up in a few minutes. Let's talk about today. Likely to be into the 70s with a chance of showers late in the afternoon into the evening. We are talking about a slightly cooler weekend ahead, at least for part of it. We'll break down your complete forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:35 now. You might not be aware of it, but Bozeman started building tiny homes last year to serve the homeless population. MTN's Medeiros Babb has an update on that project.
It's small inside, but it's, I think, comfortable.
This tiny home prototype is almost finished. MSU architecture students and their professor, Ralph Johnson, are finishing up the final touches before it is on display.
We've tried to be innovative. We've got storage space up above the bed and the bathroom. There's a small kitchen, countertop made by the students, concrete countertop with glass shards in it.
This particular tiny home is 150 square feet. It has an area over here for a bed, storage, and drawers for clothes. HRDC is working with architecture students to build this house. It has heat, electricity, and water. These homes also meet the International Residential Code, which most tiny homes do not. HRDC CEO Heather Grenier says this project has been delayed due to some setbacks. She says the project is now looking for land after working with the city on zoning.
So that was a big hurdle that we spent a lot of time on that we didn't anticipate spending time on. And now I think outside of that, you know, there are not a lot of large acreage parcels left close within proximity in Bozeman.
A lot of times that can be a difficult process to try to fit everything that needs to be fit on a piece of property.
While HRDC is looking for land, MSU students will live in the tiny home during the fall semester. She will test the water, heat, and air for future improvements. In Bozeman, Medeiros Babb, MTN News.
Now, Medeiros tells us also MSU grad students are going to start building larger 300-square-foot handicap-accessible tiny homes later this summer. Shifting gears a bit, cleanup continues at the site of a truck crash that spilled mine material near the Big Hole River, about 25 miles south of Butte. A truck hauling molybdenum from Montana Resources in Butte crashed on Highway 43 near Divide yesterday morning on a curve near the river. Crews are cleaning up the moly, which did not get into the river. Driver of the truck was not injured. Local residents say they see a lot of crashes at this bend in the road.
Well, they come around here pretty quick. Don't seem to understand the speed limit signs. It's pretty important to us that live around here that stuff gets in the river. It's a big deal. It's a big old river watershed.
Now, Montana Resources says the moly was purchased by a mining operation in Idaho. The company hired a private contractor to haul that ore. Also, 11 unusual guests waddled their way through Bozeman High School's hallways on Tuesday. Each year, Mother Duck lays her eggs in the Bozeman High School courtyard. Once the egg hatch and the ducklings are big enough, she pecks her beak on the glass and escorts them through the school hallway. They then exit the building into Bozeman Creek. That's awesome. This year, the Mother Mallard had 10 ducklings with her. Mother Goose, actually Mother Duck, making her way out of the school. Love that. We're going to take a quick break here, but here's a couple of things we're working on right after this commercial break.
A new approach to treating chronic diseases. I'm Laura Podesta in Brooklyn, New York. How doctors are prescribing certain foods for patients.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, former FBI Director James Comey is in Studio 57. He'll respond to criticism from the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who is offering a new explanation for why Comey was fired. Plus, we're tracking the volcanic eruption that is forcing nearly 2,000 people from their homes on the big island of Hawaii. And we'll look at this year's travel trends with Priceline CEO Brett Keller. We'll see you at 7.